Well, hello there, YouTube. I'm back again with another IKEA Hobo Stove video, and what you're looking at here is a couple of recent modifications that I've been working on, and in this video I'm going to test them kind of in the field. Um, a while back I made this ash plate out of an old cooking tin, and I usually put a piece of carbon felt cut about to the same size underneath it. This absorbs pretty much all the heat and any of the ashes that fall off to the sides. They don't burn the surface that I'm working on. I have burned the top of wooden tables and scorched stuff, and I just got tired of it. So anyway, you see this little round cooking grill that I'm holding in my hands, and you see how it's warped. This is because it couldn't take the heat. The Hobo stove got super hot, and this round little grill top that I have here, it couldn't take it. It started to melt and kind of warp and bend, and it doesn't sit flush flat in my pack anymore. It was originally a cooling rack, by the way. It wasn't really a grill. I cut the legs off of it and used it as a grill. Anyway, I purchased this kind of heavy duty um, barbecue grill. This is the kind you put at the very base of a backyard charcoal grill that the charcoal actually sits on, and it's pretty dang heavy actually. Anyway, I took a Dremel and I cut that little center section out, as you can see, and it sits flush right on top of the cross braces on my IKEA Hobo stove. So it's a little bit heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could find a lighter alternative, and I'm still looking, but I'm gonna go out here kind of in the field and do a test with it. So today we're grilling up some steak, and we're gonna make some scrambled eggs and make some steak and eggs. So as you can see, I already got the IKEA Hobo stove up and cooking here, or the flames are already going. I've already started the fire and loaded it with wood. Um, I don't know why I'm having a really hard time putting the cross brace on. Um, I don't know. Here's the deal. I go back and narrate these after I shoot them to to take out all the sounds of airplanes and people talking in the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes as I'm going back and watching these, I crack myself up. Okay. Anyway, you can see here's the grill, and it sits flush on top of the IKEA Hobo stove. And I've cut some pieces of steak, pretty small, pretty thin, so they don't have to grill that long. Um, and they will fit on top of this little round grill top that I have. Anyway, here's the deal. I'm not worried about this warping. It is pretty heavy duty. Uh, and incidentally, it's pretty heavy. I won't probably take this with me all the time, but I'm out here checking it out. Uh, Sometimes I travel heavier and sometimes I travel lighter. Um, but I always like to test stuff out. So that's what this is. This little pocket bellows right here. Oh man, I have found it infinitely handy to have. Sometimes I used to get my face close to the IKEA Hobo stove and I would, blow on it, and I just get a face full of ash and just smoke. And so it's nice to have a little bit of distance. Those little pocket bellows are just the right size. It keeps you maybe, I don't know, 18 inches, 2 feet away from the actual fire. And anyway, the nice thing about these hobo stoves is they keep a lot of heat down there at the bottom where all the coals are and the embers are and stuff. It's got quite a bit of heat. It wasn't quite hot enough for my steaks though, so I kind of got it cooking again here, as you can see. And all it takes is a little bit of oxygen blown on it, and a couple more pieces of wood, and it gets up and cooking pretty quickly. So as you can see, I'm prepping my steaks. I'm putting on a little bit of pepper, and I don't like a lot of spices on there. I usually put some onion powder on there, and pretty soon you're going to see me slip a little bit of garlic powder on there as well. Hey, this is a pretty good view of these little. I have these little glass vials. Um, I can't remember where I got them. I got them so long ago. Uh, I think they're for like arts. They're from an arts and crafts store. I just can't remember where I got them. Maybe Hobby Lobby or Michael's or someplace like that. Uh, and they're for keeping little tiny like I don't know, glitter or something in. But I find them infinitely useful for camping. I keep them in my little camp cook kit where I keep all my stuff. Uh, like my utensils and things like that. And they're in there with like a beer koozie. Oh, there's the garlic. Yeah, I labeled everything so I could tell what it was. Uh, they haven't broken on me yet. They don't move around that much in the pack, and they're pretty padded, and they're pretty sturdy, so they work pretty well. Anyway, that's as I'm narrating this, I'm very happy with the flame of this fire right here. Uh, the Getting it just right here for the IKEA Hobo stove is a little bit of a science. You don't want the flames too big, or you have like a little bonfire going. But if they cook down too small, if you keep them down just as coals, which you can do, like I'm not lying, you could do that, but it takes a lot longer. So to get the optimal time and the optimal temperature, you got to keep on top of it. The hobo stove is not something you just walk away from and hope you don't burn stuff. Uh, you will, or your fire will go out, um, or it'll go out enough that it's not super useful for cooking. So I should mention I don't like my steaks rare. I usually take a medium or even medium well. Uh, so that's what I'm doing here. Uh, Again, you can see it doesn't take much fuel to keep this hobo stove working right here. Uh, Pretty good. Oh, hey, there's a look at my little kit. You can see the salt in there inside that mesh pocket. You know what that is? That's a pencil bag um, from like Trapper Keeper or something. I got it at Walmart for like $2 at the beginning of the school season a couple years ago. Anyway, I can fit all my utensils and stuff in there, and I keep my knife and my pocket bellows and sponge and spices and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm making right here is powdered milk, um, and you'll see why. I'll explain it here pretty soon when I start making the eggs. But I keep a little ramekin, little plastic ramekin of powdered milk, and I add a little bit of water to it as my steaks are finishing up over here on the grill. I want to point out too, I have a different set of tongs for the fire that I was loading the wood with earlier. These tongs are exclusively used for food. They have a silicone on the end of them, and they're small enough to kind of travel with. They're pretty useful. So these plates that I have in front of me here, or what I'm calling plates, are stainless steel burner covers for for a stovetop, but they're perfect size for camping. So anyway, I got two of them, and I haven't actually cooked on them. I haven't fried something in them or anything, but uh, I use them all the time. They are like super useful. They're like little Swiss Army knives of plates, and they were really cheap. I think a set of four of them was like I don't know, $12 or something. Uh, okay, so here's how I like to make my eggs. I used to scramble my. First of all, I like scrambled eggs. I don't fry eggs. I'm not a big fan of that. And I have this way of particularly breaking the eggs. First, I put a paper towel out so that there's somewhere to put them, the shells, and there's no fuss, no muss. It cleans up pretty easily. Anyway, uh, I found a while back that my eggs were pretty dry and crumbly, so uh, I was trying to figure out a way to make the scrambled eggs a little more creamy, a little bit better. That's how I like to eat them. And then somebody told me I could add cream or milk, just like like a tablespoonful, and it would help scramble the eggs. So that's why I've added the powdered milk to this, is because I like my eggs a little bit fluffy, a little bit creamy. I don't like them dry and crumbly. So uh, that's why I had the powdered milk with me. Um, I'm not that far from home. I could have just brought actual milk, but I'm trying to get used to powdered milk out when I'm camping. All right, so this is my little Sea to Summit skillet. Uh, it's pretty handy. That little handle folds below it. And you're about to see something else that's key for me when I make scrambled eggs. So this little skillet is a non-stick skillet anyway. Uh, and so I don't have to put any oil or butter in there to keep things from sticking to it that much. It's just I like the taste of butter. It's as simple as that. I like butter. I like a little butter as a base for scrambling eggs. I don't use oil. I don't like the taste of oil when I'm scrambling eggs. Some people really do, uh, and that's cool. But I don't. I like butter. Uh, so anyway, this is how I scrambled eggs when I'm out and about. On an overnight or a 2-day camping trip or something. Oh, there's another look. There's the tongs that I was talking about. See, I have tongs that I use for handling the hobo stove fire. Um, and it's a different set of tongs for when I handle food. All right, so I'm gonna put the scrambled eggs on. They shouldn't take that long. I always do them last. As you can see, I made the steak and I covered them with those plates um, because keeping things in a proper order is part of it. You want to make something that instantly gets cold. Uh, Cold eggs are not as bad as not as warm steak, and steak will stay warmer longer than eggs will. So eggs come second. Hey, I just want to mention here, you can kind of see in the shot, I have stuff laid out on the other side of the table. Again with the pepper, I like pepper on my eggs, and you'll see me here pretty soon put like a little bit of parsley, dried parsley. Um, I don't know, I like that on my eggs too. It feels more sophisticated. I'm just saying. Anyway, as you can see, I got everything laid out off to the side of the frame there. I wish I'd gotten a really good shot of it. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept of mise en place. Mise en place. It's a French word, and chefs use it, and it means putting everything in its place. So when professional chefs cook something, they make sure everything is reachable and everything is clean and everything is laid out and accessible for when they are cooking. And uh, and I'll be honest, I try to apply this concept to everything in life if possible, even though it's not always the case. Um, but definitely when I'm camping, uh, I do like keeping everything in order and everything accessible, and I don't want to have to scramble around. So I lay everything out before I start cooking, and it's there for me, when I need it. All my spices are there, all my utensils are there, firewood's there, um, everything's close at hand, and it makes cleanup a lot easier as well. So I just wanted to bring that up. So as you can see, this is how I like my eggs. This is actually how I like my eggs scrambled, like kind of fluffy and not crumbly, not dry. And what we have here is a plate of steak and eggs. Voila! And I got to tell you, this is like a brunch time, like late morning, early afternoon, and it was a pretty good meal. I got to admit. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.